Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us from. Okay, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making an off-shoulder bustier. So that's the wording we are going to use. That's the paper stay, and I want to first cut it on a paper before I now transfer it to the material. So now our cutting paper is folded into two. So for me to get the width or the actual measurement of paper I need to divide my biggest measurement, which is the bust, by 4, and I'll add like 5 or 6 inches so that I'll get the accurate. Like, let me say you want to cut direct on your fabric. Now I'll just use that so that I'll know what I'm supposed to use, instead of wasting my fabric. So that was how I got this measurement I'm making use of. So now we're going to start drafting. We're making use of our bust is 36, our half length is 16, while our full length is 18. Now this will serve as a crop top after drafting. Okay, now remember this is off shoulder, so I'm doing -6. You can do -5, -4, -3, depending on what you want. Now my client wants it to be high, like you want it to come down very well at the chest line. So that is why I'm doing -6. The line I wrote is my starting line, so that is where my 6 will be. Don't know if you understand me. There is no shoulder, we're not adding shoulder, so that is why we -6. So now we're starting. If you are doing 5, you do -5. If you are doing 4, you do -4, but I want to do -6. Okay, so from the -6, I'll get my other half body measurements. So now we're starting. From our -6, we'll get our bust point. Our bust point is 10. Then we'll get our underbust. Our underbust is 12.5. After that, we get our half length. I told you our half length is 16. So after that, we get our full length, which is 18. Then we add 1 inch for sewing. Okay, so that is it. So now I need to connect the lines, but before then I want to mark the same thing on the other side so that everything will be equal. Okay, that's our bust point, our under bust, our half length, our full length with the sewing allowance. Okay, so that is it. This is our chest line, our bust point, that's our under bust, our half length, and our full length. Okay, so this is it. So now we'll start drafting. Now first of all, we'll go to our bust point, get our nipple to nipple divided by 2. Our nipple to nipple is 8. When we divide it by 2, it gives us 4. Then I'll add half an inch to it. That's 4.5. Then I'll go to the under bust. I'll add 4, exactly the nipple to nipple. I'll do same thing to the half length, and I'll do same thing to the full length. Okay, then we'll connect the lines. Remember what I said? I said at the nipple at the bust point, I divided the nipple to nipple into 2. I added half an inch to it. When I got to the under bust, the half length and the full length, I minus half an inch from what I used on the bust point. So that is it. Now we'll have to go to the shoulder area. Whatever I get at the bust point, I'll add half an inch to it and mark at the shoulder area. Okay, just like that. Then we'll connect it. Now I didn't want the line to be straight. That was why I added that half an inch to it. Okay, so that is it. Okay, now we want to draft our darts, our bustier. Okay, so now we'll come to our under bust. Now this person's bust is 36. We are going to make use of 2. If it's like from 38, 39, you can use 2.5. As you go higher, you increase it. But here now we are using 2. Then we'll go to the half length, mark the same 2. We go to the full length, do the same thing by marking the same 2. Please have it in mind. Remember I told you that this will serve as a crop top. It's not going above that belly area. Okay, so we connect our lines. Okay, then after that we'll come to the bust point. We'll come down by 1 inch. We'll come down by 1 inch. Then we connect. We make a very nice curve from the under bust to that 1 inch. We came down at the bust point. Just watch what I'm doing. You can use your free hand, anyone that is suitable for you, whatever works for you, just make use of it. So now we are going to connect. We'll connect it this way. Okay. As you can see, our bust is already coming out. You see? Okay. Now we'll go to the chest area. That's the chest line. Now we have to do that tightening, our that intake at the chest line. So now you can make use of 2. You can make use of 1.5, depending on how busty the person is. But I'm making use of 1.5. Okay. Now from that place we go in by 1.5. Go in by 1.5. Okay. So now we're going to connect this 1.5 to our bust point. We'll connect it. Okay, just like that. I'm trying to make sure I got it right. Okay. Now after that we have to blend it. We blend that bust point so that it won't be pointy. Blend it very well. You see, our bustier is already coming out. Okay. Now we need to get our armhole. Remember we did -6. Now we'll get -6 to get 8, because I normally do my armhole shoulder divided by 2. That is how I get my armhole. And because this is off shoulder, with -6 that we are using to work, then what is remaining will be our armhole. Okay. So now we are going to get our chest line. Like, I don't know if you understand. Okay, look at what I'm showing you now. From this spot to the other spot. That is what we are trying to get. That's our chest line. So now mine is 13, but I think my client's own is 12. So if we divide into 12 into 2, it will give us 6. But I'm going to make use of 7 now. So when I'm done sewing, I can trim it off. Now remember we have 5. After getting our 5, we jump our that line, because that place we are going to take it out. Then we'll mark our remaining 2 inches, which is 7. You understand what I just said? Now we connect it to the armhole. I don't know if you understand me. You saw what I was showing you. So from that one side of the chest line to the other part, some people call it pit. It's 12 for my client, but I used 14, which is 7. So after cutting, I'm going to trim out whatever excess I'm having. So that is what I just did. Now we are getting the other body measurement. Now on our chest line, on our bust point, we got our bust. Our bust is 9. That's 36 divided by 4, 9. Then we check this our that intake here, which is 1.5. We added it plus 2.5 inches for sewing. We mark. Okay. Now we'll go down to the waistline. Our waist is 32. Sorry, our waist is 31. That's 7¾ we check our that intake, we add it plus 2.5 inches. Okay, that is it. Then we'll go down to the full length. Whatever we get here, we're using the same thing on the full length. Okay, then we connect our lines. We'll connect, then we'll connect back to the bust point. Now the same thing we got at the bust point, we extend it to the chest line. Okay, whatever we have there, we extend it to the chest line. Okay, so that is it. Okay, now we are almost done with the front panel. Now I want you to understand something. You see, sometimes after cutting our bustier or after sewing, you notice that the front side, most times used to be longer than the center front. So now we're going to measure out this center side, sorry, this front side, just like I'm doing. Okay, whatever we got 14. Whatever we get, we're going to make sure it's equal to the center front. Okay, you see? Okay, so we mark it. You see the reason why we left that allowance before we started sewing. Now we extend the line so that after joining the side and the center, it will be equal. So we're not cutting the neckline. We'll cut it when we are done joining the bustier. That's the front part. So now we are cutting. Okay, we'll just cut it out. Okay, I'm trying to pin it down so that while cutting it won't shift. If not, maybe when you cut one side, the other side will just shift. Okay, we're cutting out our center front. Okay, okay. Now we're going to notch the bust point. So we're going to notch the under bust, so that we'll know where our pad will stop. That's our wording when we are padding it. So I'll know where to stop. That is where we just notch the under bust. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to mark the area where we are not making it or where it's not needed. Like this place I'm shading out now. I was supposed to do that earlier. Sorry about that. Okay, this area, this part we don't need it. It's going out. Okay, so now we're cutting the front side. This is the two sides we are cutting. Okay. Okay, we are done cutting out the front panel. This is the two front panel. Okay, the center front and the side front. Okay, that is it. So now we're going to cut the back panel. So this is the back panel we are back cutting. Now remember, we'll have to rule out a line as our starting line. Rule out a line that will start as our starting line. Okay, that is just it. So after that, we start our normal measurements. Remember, we are working with -6. That is what we are taking off because it said it's off shoulder. -6. But before then, I want us to mark our okay, that's our -6. We're getting our full length with sewing allowance, folding allowance. That's 1 inch. That is what I just marked. That's the full length. After marking the full length, I'm marking the bust point. Yes, that is only what I'm doing here. I'm marking the bust point. I don't need under bust. I don't need any other stuff. So the full length and the under bust, those are the two lines I've marked. So I'll roll the line out. Okay. Okay, just like that. Okay. After that, now we are going to mark our zip allowance. But before then, we'll take out 1/2 inch for zip bulge. Yes, sometimes after sewing, you notice that at the back there is a puffy area where you fix the zip. It will kind of be puffy. You'll be trying to smoothen it, it won't work out. So that is what we are trying to take out. Just at that hemline, we came in, we went inside by 1/2 inch at that hem line, and we connected it to the starting line. Now I'm trying to be so careful so that I won't take out more than what I'm supposed to. That's just what I'm trying to do here. Just connect it in a slant way. So that is it. That side is going off. Okay, after that, now we'll now take our zipper allowance. For our zipper allowance, I'm taking 1.5. If you notice, I took the 1.5 at the hemline and at the starting line because they are not equal anymore. So that is why I have to take it and rule out a straight line. If you look now, the line I'm going to rule, it will be in slant form. So if after doing yours and the straight, just know that you did not get it right. Okay, so this is it. That's our zipper allowance. Okay, that's our zipper allowance. So now we're going to get our other measurements. Now we're going to mark out our neckline. Okay, now for this, I'm making use of 5 for the neckline because this person is not that big. So I'm making use of 5. That's our neck width. Making use of 5. Now for our okay, I made use of 5 for our neck depth, our neck width. Now I'm getting our armhole depth. Remember what I told you? When we -6, we got 8. The same thing we did at the front. That is what we are doing here. Now the reason why I got this armhole is so that I can connect it to that neck area. So you see what I'm doing now? I'll connect it to the neck area. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so that is it. So after that, I will divided my bust into 4. Remember our bust is 36 into 4, 9. Added our 2.5 inches for sewing. Please have it in mind that all measurements is we started from that zipper allowance, not from the beginning. If you notice, from the zipper allowance, that is where my tape starts from. Okay, now we got our waist. After marking it, we added our 2.5 inches sewing our allowance. Then we added 1 inch for our dart. We added 1 inch for our dart, don't forget. And that 1 inch was just added at that waistline. That's that down part. That was where we added it. Okay. So now we've connected. So that is it. Now we're going to mark out our dart. Our nipple to nipple is 4. We're still going to mark the same 4. Okay. We'll mark our 4. Just like that. Okay. So remember we added 1 inch for that. So that's what we are trying to mark. Now our dart to stop 1 inch before our bust point. It will stop 1 inch before our bust point. That's the line I just marked. So I'm trying to pin down this paper so that it will be stable. Okay. So now remember what we did earlier. We marked out our 4 inches nipple to nipple. Now from the chest, the bust point, we came down by 1 inch. That is where our dart will stop. Then we connect the lines. Okay, we connect it straight. Okay, now remember we added 1 inch for our dart. So now from the we take in half inch from each side, half inch. Okay, now we connect it just like I'm doing. We connect it. Okay, we're connecting our darts. This is how we're going to sew it. We're not going to cut this dart I just marked, but that is how we are going to sew it on the fabric. Okay, so now we are going to mark our neckline, our neck. Remember we've gotten our neck wideness. Now we're going for the depth. Okay, for the depth I used 2 inches. I don't want it to be too deep, so I will now connect these 2 inches to the 5 wideness we got earlier. Just connect it like so. Okay, our back panel is ready. That's all. Okay, now when you come down at this okay, wait, let me cut first. I want to show you guys something. Okay, now at this down part, I want to slant it. This hem area, I want to slant it because sometimes you notice that after sewing your half length, you notice that that back place is not always that relaxed. I mean the down part, not the zip upper part. So now I went up by 1 inch. So I'm going to slant it to the other side. Now this 1 inch I went up by is at that neckline area, that the zipper area, not the other side. That's the center. I went up by 1 inch. I connected it back to the hemline. Just slant it. So you see, cut it out. Now if you try this method after sewing your clothes, just look at the back will be so relaxed. So this is it. That's the front. That's the front. And the back. Okay, so that is it. So we want to now we have to bring our fabric and cut our fabric. We bring our fabric, our wadding, our lining, our paper stay, because we are going to infuse stay. We're going to fuse stay on it. So we're going to bring everything and start cutting on it. See, okay, this is the front panel. I'm cutting the center front. That's the fabric. So as you can see, I just placed it on it. I'm not adding any allowance because I added all the allowance on the paper when I was marking. So I'll just place it on it and cut it out. I'll do same thing to all of them. As I cut, I notch the underbust. Please remember to notch your underbust so that you know where your wadding, that's your pad, will stop. Remember to notch it. That's just what I'm doing. I notch the underbust. Okay, now we are almost done with the front side. Now we're cutting the back part. Remember I told you the back has to be doubled. You fold your material into two. Okay, we just cut it single because we are cutting on paper. Fold your material into two, place your paper on it and cut. Remember that, please don't cut it single. It has to be double. Okay, see, I folded my material into two before placing the paper on it to cut. So that's how you do it. So once you place it on it, you cut it out. We're not adding any allowance anywhere. That's it. Okay, when you are done, please remember to notch your dart line, that your dart area, that place you're supposed to dart. Remember to notch it. See the way? Okay, just notch it. How I will sew it. That's what I'm just doing now. Remember to notch it. Remember to notch your zipper allowance. That zip area. Remember to notch it. That's the dart. Remember to notch your zipper allowance. Okay, so that is it for the front and back cutting on fabric. Okay, now we are going to cut the wadding and the lining. That's what we're going to do next. Okay, this is our center front. We're trying to cut our wadding. Remember, we've not cut our neckline. So because of that, we're going to come down by 2 inches. I went in by 2 inches from the top. Now that 2 inches I mark is where my wadding will start from, or pad, depending on what you call it. That is where my wadding will start from, because if I start it from the beginning, I will still trim out that neckline. So that is where my wadding will start from, and it will stop at the underbust. So it will stop like half inch after the underbust. That is how I cut my wadding for off shoulder bustier. Okay, so that is what I'm cutting. This is for the center front. I'll just pin it down. Now this wadding has there is a side that has a shiny part, that's a sticky part, whereby when you put iron, hot iron on it, it will stick to the cloth. So that's the part that will be on the cloth. That's the part it will be that shining part on the cloth. Okay, now I'm notching the top because I don't want to get confused when I'll start sewing, because I'll still remove this to cut lining. So that was why I notched the top. Okay, this is it. This is the center front. That's the wording for it. Now we're going to cut the side, the front side. Those are the two sides. I'm marking out the wrong side so that I won't make mistake. Okay. Now bring our wording. Okay, we'll fold it into two. We are cutting for the two sides. Okay. Place our fabric on it. Now remember I told you that this wording will stop like half inch after the underbust. That is where I normally stop my wording. If you want to stop it at exactly the underbust, no problem. But this is why I cut mine. Okay, so you place it on it, the wrong side, place it on the wording. Now for the wideness, I normally go in by 5 inches or 4.5 for someone with small bust like this person now. I think I used 4.5. Yeah, I used 4.5. For someone that has a big bust, very busty, you can make sure it goes round. But this person bust is just 36. So I use 4.5 for the wideness of the body. Sorry, not body. For the wideness of the wording. Sorry about that. Okay. So now I'm going to carve it out. I'll just cut it out with the shape of that fabric. Okay. I'm just turning it to know the right position to place it before I cut. Okay. So this is it. So I'm going to cut it out now. Okay. We are done. We are cutting out this thing, the side pad. Okay, we are done cutting it out. Remember I told you we are cutting for the two sides, both the left and the right side. So that is it. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut our lining. Cut our lining and we cut our paper stay so that we can fuse it on the material. Okay. Okay, now this is our lining. We already cut it out. Okay, our lining, I'm using a very thick lining, so I'm not fusing stay on it. I'll just fuse stay on the material. Okay, there is something I want to show you guys. If you look at this cloth here now, you see that the material is longer than the lining. I shortened the lining because I'm going to use 1 inch to short it, to fold it. Remember I told you guys that this will serve as a crop top. So we're not joining any other cloth to it, like a skirt or a peplum. No, it will be a crop top. So that was why I had to reduce the lining so that I'll use it to turn it. You understand better when we are sewing. Okay, now I'm going to cut the paper stay and fuse it on the material. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. Okay, I'm checking out to see the part that has the shiny side. That is where we are going to fuse on the fabric. Okay, that was what I was checking out. So cut it out and we use our iron to fuse it. Okay, this is it. We are done. So you see, everything is set. So now we're going to fuse our wording on our fabric, just like I'm doing. I told you it has a gummy part. There's a side that has this gummy part. I don't know if that's the right word to use. Sticky part that once you use your iron and hold it on the material, it will gum on it. Okay, You can still decide to use, if you want it faster, you can add your hemming gum to it. Then it will hold it immediately. You won't need to iron too much. Okay, that is it. We'll do same thing to the center front. Okay, we are done with this now. So now our lining, remember I told you we are not facing stay on it, so we just use our iron to iron it out. That's just what we are going to do. We're just going to iron it out so that everything will be straight. We're just straightening it. I'm just trying to straighten it out so that there won't be any folded parts. Okay, but if you're using a very soft, light lining, please fuse stay on it. Okay, so that's it. Just like the back, the fabric, the back, I fuse stay on it. Okay, so this is it. So this is all for the cutting of off shoulder bustier. I'll be uploading the sewing tutorial later. Thanks for watching.